I'm Kaila Love. This is Rock the School Bells, and this is my presentation on 7 things you need to be a successful hip hop entrepreneur. All right, I'm gonna start you off by bringing you into my journey. I started as a homeless teenager, sleeping in my '93 Toyota Camry, into becoming the first of my family to go to and graduate from college. This is me performing at my graduation in front of about 25,000 people, and I actually got to perform at my middle school, high school, and college graduation. So best believe when I get that PhD, I'm gonna be hitting that stage. And even though I couldn't major in hip hop at UC Berkeley because there is not technically a major for that, I got it in. I was the president of the Students for Hip Hop Club, getting to host and throw all the hip hop events on campus. I was the teacher of a class that I developed called Tupac, the Evolution of Hip Hop and How to Rap, where you could actually get 2 academic units for learning about Tupac and writing your own rap as a final paper. And I got to be the director of a production called the Vagina Monologues, which actually raised over $30,000 for victims of sexual violence in the Bay Area. And it really drew in my leadership skills and my performance abilities and put them together for this really unique experience that will still serve me and help me grow as an artist today. And after graduation, I was still really wanting to be involved in the community and using my leadership and curriculum development skills. So I developed this full curriculum for a nonprofit called 10,000 Degrees that helped me get to college. And it was really important to give back to the first generation low-income students like myself, letting them know what I wished I would have known. And I continued teaching classes that ranged from kindergarten to 8th grade, teaching the origins of hip hop, how to rap, even using my Zumba skills to teach some dance classes. I got to tour the West Coast with LA-based artist Gavlin, amazing MC, going to like 9 states that I had never been to before. And it's making me feel like, okay, I'm a real artist. I'm starting to feel successful, right? And that we're going to talk about that in a second. And today, my newest single, Halftime, has been featured on ESPN, which was huge for me. It's my first sync licensing placement. And not only did I get it on ESPN, but it's also on NBA 2k21. So you can check me out there. But that's enough about me and my journey. I just wanted to give you a little sense of who, your facilitator is. But let's more so talk about you and where you are with hip hop. At this point, I really want you to think about, do you see hip hop as a hobby or as a career? See, there's nothing wrong with having hip hop as a hobby. There's a lot of intrinsic qualities about being a hip hop artist or producer or beatboxer and just that kind of rawness of the culture that we get to engage in. But if you really want to make hip hop as something, as a career where it's going to sustain your life and generate income, then there are certain things that you need to know. It is, the music industry, the music business. And so we cannot forget the business side of it. But first, let me talk about what the DJ was doing. The original elements of hip hop. We had the MC, but it was more about what the DJ was doing. And of course, we had the break dancers dancing to these songs. And of course, the visual element of the writers, the graffiti writers, right? And so that was kind of what the main elements were back then. And of course, the radio hosts and the record labels and whatnot. But now we have this space of infinite possibilities of so many different jobs within the music industry. And here's just, a small segment of some of the possibilities that exist. And even within each of these, there's even goes deeper, right? Because there's a lot of different types of engineers, from mixing engineers to mastering engineers. They work in 2 completely different types of studios. Managers, do you want to manage an artist or do you want to manage an entire tour with multiple artists on it? This is just to expose your mind and get you thinking about different possibilities and what it means to be successful. I just want to be successful. Hey, so I know that Drake and Trey Songz put this song down and gave us a very specific version of what success means to them. And I want you to just think about what success might mean to you. And if you want to be a hip hop artist because you want to make a whole bunch of money and be around famous rappers, well, maybe being an artist is not even the best career choice to get to that objective. Maybe it is being a content creator or a manager or, a record label executive, etc. But the purposes of this presentation, what I'm calling success as an artist or any of these careers, is basically that you're able to sustain your life, pay your bills and your rent, and be happy and do the things that you want to do as a full-time artist. And so that there's going to be some things you might need, and that's what we're going to talk about. Hey, that's my homegirl Cheyenne G, and that's just one of the other artists that you're going to see in my presentation that are all successful hip-hop independent artists in the Bay Area, in your community, that you should know about. So let's get it started. The first thing, hey, is the least important. You gotta have talent. You gotta have some level of talent, and everybody has their own unique abilities and talents. I believe that. So it's about honing that and finding that. Lil MC, she's a talented rapper, performer. She's a battle rap champion. She got her own podcast, her own comic book, etc. So finding out what those talents are and really putting them out there, but that's not all that it's going to take to be successful. You also need, they ask me why you work like that. Hey, take a break, why you work like that? This one of the most hardest working independent artists in the game that I know. He actually got his song as an independent artist, no record label backing him, to debut on the Billboard. And I was on that album, so now I get to say that I was on the Billboard too. But hard work is so important. It means that you're always working towards your craft, your content, and your connections, networking. And this is something that Call Me Ace does time and time again. I can save myself. That's my girl Jane the Message, also a dope battle rap MC. We actually did a compliment battle, and that was super fun. I think it's on YouTube. You can check it out. But she is really somebody who knows who she is. She has a super unique style, and she embraces it. She talks, is very transparent about having a form of autism and speaking out for the autism community and how that really intersects with her music. And we all have unique aspects about us. Authenticity is more important than ever in today's world, and that's why it's so important to know who you are so you can be who you are and really reflect that in your craft. Hey. Yo. That's Coffrey J right there, CEO and founder of Hip Hop for Change. And he has weathered the storms, you know, and I think his message, Can't Stop, is so important because time and time again, you are going to face rejection. There's just going to be people that don't feel you. And it doesn't mean that you suck. I mean, it might, but it doesn't mean that you suck. It's just rejection is a part of this game. It's inevitable. So it's something you have to accept, but it does not mean that you have to accept failure. I don't accept failure because that would mean giving up, and I'm not giving up. So it's important to distinguish the difference between those two, how to be persistent and consistent. I want the whole pie. Yo, that's Daylight coming out of Vallejo, California. And this is a photo shoot of her own merch line, Warrior in a Garden. Super amazing entrepreneur and artist. And, you know, she's talking about you don't want it like I. And at the end of the day, it comes down to who wants it the most. And how do we show that we want it the most? It means that, you know, my words and my actions always add up. It's one of my bars. It's bars in the music of my friends, because your choices and your goals must align. So, you know, like, you just have to make sure that what you're talking about, you're really taking the steps, booking that studio time, doing those photo shoots, getting out that cover art, that mix, and really being about it all the time. So make sure that those two things, always in line. This is my motivation for why I be writing poetry. Tired of people telling me everything I'm supposed to be. Yo, that's one of the most talented MCs that I personally know. Unlearn the World. His new song, Your Favorite Rapper's a Liar. And he is somebody that has come a long way and is a self-funded independent artist. His last album, Universes, just got featured in Source magazine, and you know, a lot of that was because, you know, he's talented, he's hardworking, all of the things, and he's realistic about his budget. You know, he's worked over time to improve the quality of his productions, and you can see it. So you have to be realistic in your budget, not just with time, not just with money, but also with time, because whatever you lack in monetary funds, you make up in sweat equity. So if, for example, you might not be able to afford a graphic designer for that cover art. So that might mean that you're picking up and learning that new skill to do it yourself. And that's why you got to be realistic. Don't just try to cut out and just be a rapper and you don't have no funds in the bank, because you do need a budget to succeed in this game. It's a business, right?
Trying to keep it cool, back to school. The plot is economic underneath the bonnet.
Oh, that's Dizzy Jenkins. And yo, this chick is a full stack engineer. She's doing all custom code on her website. She is like the real deal, doing some just crazy algorithm and blues type stuff behind the scenes. And She's such a talented artist as well. But at the end of the day, we are living in 2021. And back in the day, technology was a factor that was kind of like a gatekeeping factor that wouldn't allow artists into the industry. But now technology has leveled the playing field some to where we have access to a lot of the tools that maybe only people in the industry had access to before. So it's important to know the technology that's out there and leverage it. And I wish I had more time to talk about these topics, but hopefully this presentation gave you a solid overview on some things that you should be thinking about if you want to make hip hop a career. And you can always hit me up, KailaLove.com, Kaila Love Music on all platforms. And I'd love to chop it up with you.